Welcome to Echo Error. I'm Jex Vale, and tonight we're speaking to a voice from the underground, one that snarls more than it sings. Meet Venom, the shadow behind the Porch Rot Prophecy. Sewer Gospel Volume 1. Out tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Been a long time coming. Thought it was time to scream it out instead of swallowing it down.
This EP hits like a weapon. 5 tracks, raw and loud. What was the driving force behind the Porch Rot Prophecy?
It's some of everything I wasn't allowed to say. Stuff that didn't belong in polished venues or on shiny merch posters. It's slutty basement energy. It's what happens when you bury too much for too long. And then your bones start writing the verses. Some of it's ugly, some of it's unholy, but it's all mine.
A lot of people are trying to connect your voice to other bands, maybe even some famous ones from Cascadia. Any comment?
Voices get recycled. Stories echo. Don't waste your breath chasing ghosts. This isn't some side projects. It's a purge. I'm not part of anyone's band. I'm just a sermon that got sick of being censored.
This sound, trap metal, raunch, rage, whisper to scream verses, it's a huge departure from whatever you might have done before. What changed?
I stopped asking for permission, and I stopped trying to keep people comfortable. There's a freedom in distortion, and saying the things you'd never dare when your name's on the flyer. This EP, it's the version of me I buried to survive.
Let's talk about the title. Why the Porch Rot Prophecy?
Because rot doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in, slow, into the place you once called safe is splitting at the beams. The porch was the threshold, the place I waited for people who never came back. Now I'm burning the threshold and preaching through the smoke.
You said this EP is everything you weren't allowed to say. Who were you protecting before, yourself or someone else?
Both. I used to think silence was safer, like if I just swallowed it all, I could keep the people I love from burning in the fallout, but silence, it festers. And after a while, you're not protecting anyone. You're just building a cage and calling it a sanctuary. This Porch Rot Prophecy is me torching that sanctuary.
Do you think the person you used to be would recognize who's screaming on this record now?
Fuck no, and thank the void for that. The kid I used to be, he was all nerves and softness, always checking the room before he spoke. This version of it doesn't check, doesn't ask, he just spits. Because sometimes the only way to survive is to let the beast talk before it turns on you.
You've called this project a sermon. What's the religion? What's the sin you're screaming against?
The religion is rot, a secret truth that nothing true stays clean when it's buried in the real world too long. I'm not preaching salvation, I'm preaching contamination. The sin, pretending everything's fine when your house is sinking into the sewer. Porch rot is the mold that grows when you fake your smile too long. So yeah, sermon delivered, gospel screamed.
Any thoughts on what you hope listeners take away from this?
You don't have to be likable to be honest. You don't have to sound clean to tell the truth. This EP is for anyone who ever swallowed a scream until it made them sick. Play it loud. Get it out.
Any chance you'll ever take the mask off?
Nah, the mask's not to hide me. It's to protect what's left of the person underneath. The message matters more than the face.
Final word to the people before it drops.
The prophecy rots beneath your doorstep. I just brought the sermon.
This has been Echo Error Network, and you've just heard from the masked prophet himself, Venom. Grab his debut EP, The Porch Rot Prophecy, Sewer Gospel Volume 1, dropping at midnight. 5 tracks, no filters, no confessions, just sermons carved in decay and delivered in screams. Let the gospel